Most people think making $100,000 in 2026 requires a high-paying tech job, a famous degree, or a lucky promotion. But the opposite is quietly true across every income bracket today, right now. The people actually crossing that number this year are not the ones with the best resumes or the most prestigious offers waiting in their inbox. They are the ones who built a different kind of income system entirely. They built 3 or 4 small income streams that quietly stack on top of each other, while the salary chasers keep waiting on one big job offer that never actually arrives in their account. Today, I'm walking you through the 5 real ways people are hitting $100,000 right now in 2026, and almost none require a promotion, a side hustle grind, or quitting your job. The mechanism nobody is naming is this one truth. $100,000 is no longer a salary number you wait for. It is a stack number you build, and once you see the stack, you cannot unsee it. Way 1 is the skill stack salary, and it works because hiring in 2026 finally broke open. Companies stopped paying premium money for one elite specialist with deep credentials in a single narrow domain. They started paying mid-range money for one person who can do 3 jobs at a competent working level instead. The arithmetic of what a small company can afford fundamentally changed in the last 2 years. Picture a marketer earning $40,000 who also learned basic data analytics worth $30,000, who also learned light project management worth $35,000. Walks into a small company looking for help. That person walks out with a single offer of $105,000 to do all 3 jobs. Not because any single skill is rare in the market, because the combination is genuinely rare. The mistake everyone makes is going deeper into one skill instead of wider. Becoming the best copywriter, the best designer, the best engineer in the room. That path is now crowded with identical resumes. The people winning are going wider. They pick 3 adjacent mid-level skills that normally sit in 3 different departments, and they become the human bridge between those departments quietly inside the company. Small companies cannot afford 3 separate hires for 3 separate seats. They will gladly pay one stacked person the combined rate of 1.5 hires to cover all 3 roles at once. The default behavior most people fall into is doubling down on their main skill, waiting for a senior promotion the company has no budget to actually give them this year or next. The systemic fix is the opposite. Spend 90 days picking up 2 complementary skills at a basic working level. Not certification level, not expert level. Just enough to list them on a resume and prove them in a 30-minute interview. The income jump is not gradual at all. It is a step function. The moment a hiring manager realizes they can collapse 3 open roles into one single offer to you, the stacked candidate. Way 2 is service arbitrage, and it is the most boring path to $100,000 that almost no one talks about because it sounds unsexy and uninteresting at every dinner party you attend. Small American businesses spend most of their week drowning in back office work, bookkeeping, invoice chasing, inbox management, appointment booking, basic bid writing, the work that nobody started a business to actually do daily. They cannot afford a full-time hire to do it. They cannot get the owner to do it either. So the work just sits there, costing real money in missed invoices and lost customers every single week. The arbitrage is straightforward. You can sell that exact back office work to 4 or 5 small businesses at the same time, charging each of them between $1,500 and $3,000 per month. Working from anywhere in the world, doing maybe 2 to 3 hours per client per day total. 5 clients at $2,000 per month works out to $120,000 annually. The hidden mechanism nobody names is this. Small business owners do not buy hours from you. They buy relief. They pay a flat monthly fee to anyone who simply makes a recurring problem stop existing for them. They are not comparing your hourly rate to anything in their head because they were never going to do the work themselves and they were never going to hire a full-time person to handle it either. The default behavior is chasing freelance gigs on big platforms, competing with thousands of other freelancers on price every single week. The systemic fix is the opposite path entirely. You skip the platforms completely. You go directly to small local businesses in your area or in any English-speaking country online. You offer to take one boring repeating task off their plate for a flat monthly retainer, signed in writing. You keep stacking new clients until your roster is full. The work is unglamorous. The income is steady. The contracts renew every month without you having to sell anything new at all to anyone. Way 3 is the boring index default, and this one is not technically a way to earn $100,000. It is the way to keep $100,000 working while you earn elsewhere quietly. Most people think investing requires picking the right stocks, timing the market correctly, or finding the next hot crypto coin before everyone else does. The opposite is quietly true in every long-term study ever run. The people who actually end up with serious money in 2026 are the ones who set up an automatic monthly transfer into a low-cost broad market index fund and then never looked at it ever again. The mechanism nobody names is that wealth is built by removing the human from the financial loop entirely. Every time you make a decision about your money, you make a slightly worse one than the default. You panic sell on a red day. You chase a hot tip from a friend. You forget to invest a month. You convince yourself you will start next quarter when you have more disposable income to work with. The systemic fix is to set up an automatic transfer that fires the day after your salary lands, going directly into one boring index fund with absolutely no further input required from you ever again. At any point, even at $400 per month going into a basic global index, compounding quietly for 15 years at the long-term market average, you end up with roughly $140,000 without ever once making an investing decision yourself. The drainage that kills most people is not poor investing strategy at all. It is friction. It is having to remember. It is having to actively choose. It is having to be brave on the days the market drops 20% overnight. Removing all three of those small decisions from your life is the entire game of personal finance. Behavior beats theory always. The people who make it to $100,000 in net worth before 40 are almost never the ones who studied investing the most. They are the ones who automated the boring default earliest in life. Way 4 is operator equity, and it is the path almost nobody takes because it requires patience and the willingness to look like you're taking one step backward in your career for 2 full years up front. Most people think the way to build real money is to start a company yourself, take on all the founder risk, and hope it works out somehow over a 5 or 7 year span of constant struggle. The opposite is quietly true. The people quietly building real money in 2026 are the ones joining a small profitable business as employee number 2 or 3, negotiating a small slice of equity upfront and writing. The mechanism nobody names is this market reality. There are tens of thousands of small businesses in every developed country doing $1 to $5 million a year in revenue, owned by one single exhausted founder. They do not need a co-founder, they need a competent operator. They will gladly trade 2 to 5% equity to anyone who can take the operations work off their plate every single week of the year. 2% of a business that sells in 5 years for $10 million is $200,000 in your pocket on top of the salary you were already collecting the entire 5-year period. Of work, 5% is $500,000. The default behavior is working at a giant company hoping for a tiny equity package that almost never actually pays out, or starting something yourself from absolute zero alone. The systemic fix is the operator equity path. You find a small, profitable, boring business in any unsexy industry. You join as the right hand to the founder. You negotiate equity in writing on day one always. You let time and the founder's eventual exit do the rest of the work for you quietly. You collect a normal salary the entire time. You build operating skills the entire time. You take almost no founder risk. When the business sells, you walk away with a single check that puts you over $100,000 in 1 year, sometimes in one single afternoon at a closing table. That is operator equity in practice. Way 5 is the distribution tax, and this one is the most misunderstood income stream of the entire decade. Most people think building an audience means becoming an influencer, dancing on camera, chasing brand deals weekly. The opposite is quietly true. The people earning real money from audiences in 2026 are not influencers at all. They are quiet operators who built a small focused list of 3,000 to 5,000 right people quietly. They charge brands a flat fee for access to that small list. The mechanism nobody names is this market shift. Brands do not pay for reach anymore. Reach is broken. Brands pay for trust now in 2026. A list of 3,000 small business owners who actually open your weekly email is worth more to a software company than 1 million random followers on the loudest social media platform of the year. Today, That list will quietly bring in between $5,000 and $20,000 every time you mention a relevant product to it. Do that 6 times a year, you are over $100,000 annually now from one small list that took you 18 months to build in the background while doing your normal day job. The default behavior is chasing follower count on the loudest platform, posting daily for years on end, hoping for viral hits that never compound into actual income. The systemic fix is the opposite path. Pick one narrow audience, one boring profession, one specific job title, one small industry. Go deep on one. Build a free weekly email or small newsletter that gives that exact group of people one useful thing every week without fail. Do not try to grow fast at all. Do not try to be entertaining for them. Just be useful and consistent for 18 straight months. By month 19, you will have a small audience that brands will quietly pay you to access for the rest of your working life every single year. Because that audience is impossible to replicate without putting in the same 18 months of consistent, quiet work. So those are the 5 real ways people are crossing $100,000 in 2026 right now. The skill stack salary, service arbitrage, the boring index default, operator equity, the distribution tax. Notice what none of them required from you. None required a famous degree or a viral moment on camera anywhere. None required a tech startup or a promotion your manager keeps quietly promising you next quarter. All 5 of them are systems instead of efforts. All 5 remove willpower from the equation completely and replace it with a quiet default that compounds in the background while you live your normal life. The salary chasers will keep waiting on one big offer that never lands in their inbox. The system builders are already passed quietly without telling anyone, without changing their job title. Without going viral once, they simply built 3 small income systems that each pay $30,000 to $40,000 a year. The math finishes itself once started. So if you only take one thing from this video, make it this single sentence. Stop trying to earn $100,000 from one source. Start stacking 3 small systems. The number arrives on its own.